All right, good morning, everybody. Sorry so much for the delay. We've been having some technical difficulties, as usual, with our Wi-Fi. So now that I am finally live, we're going to get started right away in sort of a different manner than usual. We're going to try to start with our fox kits because they're actually out today. So we'll do that, and then we'll do a formal introduction with the team as per usual, but don't want to miss out on this opportunity. All right, so first we've got these couple of jack-o'-lanterns for our foxes. Hopefully we did not scare them away. And then Danielle here has some treats for them as well, so.
Of course, I dropped him. Great start.
So if you guys can see, our foxes have a fully enclosed enclosure in which they are able to dig dens and practice their natural behaviors. And that's all good and well, except for when it comes to live streams, of course, because sometimes they prefer to hide instead of coming out on camera. So Danielle's trying to lure them with some jerky treats to see if they'll come out. It seems like we probably did startle them when we dropped their little jack-o'-lanterns. So hopefully those of you that signed on right away got to at least briefly see them through the fence if they decide not to come back out for us. But all of these jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkins we have today, we will tell you guys a little bit more about once we do our formal intro with the team. But it looks like lots of people are signing on. So good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're just joining us now, we are trying to see if our two foxes, River and Rumi, will come out of their little den to enjoy some treats and pumpkins. And you can actually see a little head movement right to the left of that log. And of course, you guys can probably hear Mr. Irwin in the background. Irwin always has to communicate when something weird and abnormal is going on with the day-to-day routine. We always joke that he's our resident tattletale. So of course, you're going to hear him throughout the day. But it looks like we've got Miss River out to join us. Unsurprisingly, she is more brave than her brother Rumi, so she usually does come out and experience new things first, and then tends to let him know, okay, it's all good, it's all safe, you can come out too. So we'll see if he joins, but if not, we'll leave the pumpkins in here for him to get, there we go, later. What is that? So these guys are both North American red foxes, and they are a brother-sister pair. There was actually a couple of others in their original litter, both of which live at other facilities across the nation. The reason that these guys came into our care is because they were originally part of an operation that started as a fur farm, in which the guy that owned the place would raise animals up until they were full size, wait till fall, winter when their coats were the thickest and fullest, and then they would be euthanized and skinned and tanned to sell their fur. However, when the craze of exotic pet ownership with foxes started to really take off, this gentleman realized he could make more money breeding and selling them as pets than he could from a one-time sale of their pelts. However, the state of Virginia changed their laws on fox ownership, so he was forced to get rid of all of his animals, and because you could not legally sell them, he had to give them all to qualified facilities. So that's how River and Rumi ended up in our care. They came to us when they were just little babies. They are about 4 years old now, if I can remember correctly. We have almost 80 animals, so it's a lot of birthdays to keep track of. Yes, I know. A lot of people are commenting. You guys are excited that they came out. So I feel the same way. It is very, very rare that we get these guys on a live stream. So I'm super happy that we waited them out. Rumi did go back and hide in his hidey hole. But like I said, we'll be leaving the jack-o'-lanterns in there so they can have them all throughout the next several days to be enjoyed at their leisure. Good job, River. All right, and a special thank you today to a couple of people that donated for any rescue. So Jen Fox and Mary Morris, we have assigned your guys' donations of enrichment to River and Rumi. For those of you that maybe don't know, we do accept enrichment donations for each of our live streams. So I believe the next one coming up for us will be the present toss in December. You can find where to donate towards enrichment for specialized events on our website in our online gift shop. If we haven't already, we will soon be making a feature where people can purchase or donate to enrichment causes all throughout the year, anytime for any rescue. So you can either pick your favorite or you can just say any rescue that needs it and we'll get to pick for you. But this is a really great way to help stimulate natural behaviors, show these guys novelty items, things that they would not normally experience, and gauge their reaction. Enrichment is a really, really important part of everyday life here at the sanctuary or anywhere that these animals are living in captivity, in addition to our own human homes with our pets. And since River and Rumi have both left us now, we will transition over and do our formal introduction. So for everyone that was able to make it in, so glad you guys got to see the foxes. And now you'll get to meet our team before we continue on. Also, if you are a first-time viewer on our enrichment live streams, it is important to note that we are very remote and rural, meaning that our internet is not always very reliable. So apologies in advance if we start cutting out or lose you guys. We will try to sign back on as soon as possible. We've got Katie, our social media person, working remotely to keep up with comments also. So if you guys have questions, comments, Katie will get to those either in the live stream itself or at a later point in time. But don't worry, we will get to you if I don't see it and address it right in the live stream. So first, we'll go show you guys some of our pumpkins and then do an intro with the team. So you can see there is a good variety of jack-o'-lanterns here. And you guys will get to see all of these as we give them out to the animals as well. But just want to give you a brief glimpse of them. And of course, this is only for the rescues that are currently on our tour path. Due to the limited Wi-Fi that we have, we can't give out to every animal for you guys on the live stream, but we usually will give out to every single animal on the property at some point, and then we create a video to put on YouTube so that you guys can see everyone else enjoy theirs, especially for those that have sponsored for animals not on the tour path. Otherwise, we're going to introduce the team. Everyone good with being on camera? Okay. So we've got Vic, who is one of our animal caretakers, donor relations, grant coordinator, jack of all trades. Logan, one of our interns. Logan, you've been with us how long?
Probably since about the beginning of August.
And who's your favorite animal right now?
Laser.
Laser, of course, he's everyone's favorite. We've got our grouchy media man and photographer. Who's your favorite animal? Kaya. We've got a wonderful volunteer assisting us today. Do you have a favorite you want to talk about?
I'm going to go Lincoln.
Lincoln. Ooh, our featured animal for today. That's going to be our special guest at the end. Then we've got Rachel, who is our Wolf Kitchen supervisor, USDA project coordinator, animal care specialist, another jack of all trades. Who's your favorite?
Either Luna or Zeppelin.
Luna or Zeppelin. Love it. And then we've got Lexi, our education outreach specialist, and another animal care specialist. Who's your favorite?
Beans.
Beans, of course. And then, of course, we've got Danielle, who is our enrichment coordinator. Who's your favorite?
Bowie and Reba, right?
Bowie and Reba. And Danielle is going to tell us all about jack-o'-lanterns that have been made over the last couple days, why we give this out, why it's a good enrichment, etc.
Yes, so for pumpkins, they are very good for digestion, helps the animals with lots of important vitamins and nutrients and stuff. Obviously, all things in moderation, so this is to give out as a treat or in low amounts, but can also help with, loosening or hardening stool as needed. Otherwise, for every pumpkin we did this year, we wanted to go with sort of classic jack-o'-lantern faces, as each of our animals are unique, as are the faces that they will get. So each one is different. Some match the personality of the animal, others don't, and as you see them take them, you can decide if it matches them or if it's just to get the spooky ones that we need for this season. All of them have a little bit of kibble and some cat food in them to help make them a little more exciting. We also sprayed them with some elk estrus.
Ooh.
So some animals like the pumpkins, some like the stuff in the pumpkins. It might just be a gateway to delicious treats, but they'll enjoy them in any capacity.
Awesome. All right. And then with that, we will go to our first enclosure. This is actually going to be one of our rescues taken in last year, along with his brand new partner, who we just took in from Minnesota maybe 2 weeks ago at this point. You guys will notice that the new rescue, Haiku, she is going to be pacing pretty excessively. As I mentioned, she's brand new. She is not a social animal at this point. So especially with all the crowds that we have following around for things like pumpkin toss, throwing something big and scary in that enclosure. Don't be alarmed if you see her have a response to that. As we talk about with many live streams, these animals oftentimes have neophobia, which means a fear of new and unusual things, especially for higher content animals. So you'll see Mr. Zane here up front and confident, but his companion is in the back corner just trying to avoid us. So just wanted to touch base on that. Hello, Zane. Is that for you? All right. So
Is for Haiku.
okay, so Haiku looks a little shocked and startled, which is appropriate for her.
And that one is for Zane.
Mr. Zane. All right, and I'm assuming we're shifting Zane and then throwing in for Haiku.
I'm gonna give it to Rachel.
All right.
Take it around.
So we're going to set Zane up in his shift pen here, and mostly why we're doing this is to allow for Haiku to get her pumpkin without Zane stealing it or bullying her. He is absolutely at this point the more confident and assertive animal in the enclosure, so we don't want to give him any excuses to be mean to Haiku, who is just shy and trying to settle in. You can hear Zane making his noises of excitement. Zane here is one of our low content wolf dogs. I believe he is about 22% per embark, which is the most accurate DNA test currently on the commercial market for detecting wolf content. Embark will tell you the exact percentage of all different types of dog breeds, including gray wolf, that is in an animal. These tests are something that we are slowly working to provide for every single one of our animals, not only so we can determine their wolf content, but also so we can do some genetic health testing. And in fact, Zane is a great example of why this is so important. So Zane's story is that he was actually running loose as a stray in Gallup, New Mexico, which is about an hour away from us. And he was picked up by a nice citizen who thought surely someone's dog had escaped. Took him to the shelter, and they suspected he might be a wolf dog, so they reached out to us. I had actually gone in person to do a physical assessment, since sometimes you can't really tell a lot about an animal from just photos and videos, and without not being too far away, it made sense to go there and see him. However, oftentimes with low content animals, you don't necessarily see enough wolfy features to fully determine that there may or may not be content with confidence. And since in Zane's case, he was in a shelter in an illegal county, his options for rescue were going to be to go to a wolf sanctuary like us or be euthanized because they could not legally adopt him out per their policy or in that county. So I had encouraged them to do an embark DNA test to confirm whether he actually was a wolf dog. So after about 3 to 4 weeks of waiting, it did come back and let us know that he had a very small amount of wolf in him. But in this county, it's not percentage based. They're completely illegal. So we did decide to take him. And the shelter had only done a DNA test. They had not done the health portion. So we decided to add that on as soon as we got him. And that was when we learned that Zane has a condition called degenerative myelopathy, which basically means that as he ages, he will start to exhibit issues with his mobility, especially in his hind limbs. And we are already actually starting to see signs of discomfort as a result. But what eventually happens with DM is that these animals will experience short-term and then eventually permanent paralysis. So Zane's not at that point yet, but we did have one of our dingoes have to be assisted earlier on this year as a result of the same condition. So it is a very difficult thing to watch happen, but at least in Zane's case, we are aware of it so that we can start treating him right away. We can be very mindful of what we are observing with him and overall attempt to give him the highest quality of life possible. But we do know that eventually this is something we'll have to deal with and assist him with once he gets to that point. Zane actually has some really spectacular donors out there and supporters that have done a lot to cater to his quality of life with things like toys, which are his absolute favorite, medications, etc. So Zane's got a lot of love, which I think tends to bolster these guys as far as quality of life and overall health goes. But for now, we're going to leave him, and Haiku has gone nowhere near her jack-o'-lantern. I'm sure, again, the crowd is just disturbing her. So we're going to move on from Mr. Zane here. But first, a huge thank you to Kimberly Alderette, who donated for his jack-o'-lantern. And then Molly Wierzinski had donated for any rescue, so we gave yours to Miss Haiku in the background. So thank you guys so much for that. And we're going to move on to Sarkin and Katniss. All right. So I see our jack-o'-lanterns are set up here, so we'll see whose is whose. All right, so this is for Mr. Sarkin and for our Lady Katniss. Are we throwing for both of them?
I'm going to set down for Sarkin and
Perfect.
Set down for...
Perfect. So I'm not going to go all the way up because unfortunately I know my Wi-Fi will cut out. I like to get as close as I can for you guys. And I know Katniss is not, she's much like Haiku. She's a non-social animal. She's nervous about the crowds. So she is not going to likely come all the way up for very long, if at all. Sarkin is a great one because he's not afraid of people at all. He loves his pumpkin enrichment. But I don't want the video to cut out. So we're going to just watch from a distance. Now, Sarkin and Katniss here came to us as a couple of years ago. More like a surrogate mother and her son is a better description of their relationship, since these guys did come from the exact same owners originally. And Sarkin, being younger than Katniss, was essentially raised by her, and they are very bonded. Even though Sarkin is the more confident and assertive animal in this enclosure, because Katniss raised him, he basically has this high level of respect for her, and therefore, even though he could get away with bullying her, stealing her resources, he typically does not. And it's a really respect-based relationship that they share, which is really awesome to see. So the team's bringing in Katniss's pumpkin. They're just going to set it down and walk out so that she doesn't have to see people for too long. And then we'll move on to our next enclosure. But for now, Sarkin and Katniss, as I mentioned, did come from a couple in Alabama, and unfortunately, as Sarkin got older, he began to demonstrate some unpredictability and some really intense behaviors, and so ultimately the two were asked to join us here at Wild Spirit so that they could remain together, even though Katniss doesn't have a single mean bone in her body, and we think that that was really the right decision for the owners to make, letting these guys stay together. It's really helped their level of comfort as they settle in, and despite what you're seeing right now with Katniss's pacing, that's not really normal now that they've been here for a while. But big days like this with large crowds, I think usually makes the animals wonder whether it's a vet day, which is a lot more scary than actually getting pumpkin enrichment. So they tend to get a little on edge, which is very understandable. All right, so next is our boy Rune. Rune is one of our most recent rescues. Oh wait, and this is going to be his pumpkin. Nice. It's very toothy, which I think is appropriate for Rune, at least how he interacts with me. And we're going to toss that over. And he is waiting for it. So Rune is one of our Pennsylvania rescues, so brand new as of a few months. And he normally is a very confident animal, but it just so happens that he is a little bit afraid of enrichment coordinator Danielle. These animals, just like people, have their own opinions and preferences about their caretakers and about humans in general. So while Rune loves some people, absolutely despises me, he is afraid of Danielle. So it's a really mixed bag with him. And I'm just going to kind of hang out here and linger while everyone else departs. And hopefully he'll come up and get his smashed pumpkin. He says hello back, Joanna. And thank you so much as his enrichment sponsor. I also forgot to mention Sarkin and Katniss's jack-o'-lanterns were sponsored by Bernadine Zupke, who donated for Any Rescue, and Karen Belluomini. Also, if I butcher names, I apologize in advance. I do my best, but some of them are harder than others. But Rune here is a high content wolf dog, which is surprising because if you look closely at him, and you might not be able to see it now, you'll notice he has a feature that is as a general rule of thumb, not really associated with high content animals, and that is his pink light colored nose. This is a result of certain genetic makeup that comes from these animals, and oftentimes is related to them being completely born white, which is also not normal for high contents as a general rule of thumb. Now, if you could see me, you would see I'm putting little air quotes around general rule of thumb because these are pretty solid rules, but over time we are seeing that a lot of high content wolf dogs are beginning to sort of break these rules. And whether that is a result of selective breeding or inbreeding or just, slow domestication of these animals over time or continued domestication of these animals over time, it's hard to say at this point, but I will tell you that that's a really unusual trait, and we were told he was a high content upon rescue, but wanted to definitely DNA test to verify because of that light colored nose and just a couple other features that don't quite fit with a high content. All right, well, he is just still nervous because Danielle is existing. It be like that sometimes, so we will move on and leave Rune to enjoy his jack-o'-lantern in peace. Mr. Man over here did recently have another one of the Minnesota rescues as his new companion. Unfortunately, we did have to separate them recently, so you'll see her a little bit later on. But coming up next, we've got some favorites. Oh, this is for Artemis, who's our little baby. And for Balto. Yes, I love it. All right, we're going in. So Mr. Balto is probably going to get his first. So Balto here is a mid-content wolf dog. And thank you to Diane Todino, Sue Rigel, and CL Manville-Haas for donating for Balto. And then Denise Ramsey and Catherine Penn donated for our little girl Artemis. So you guys will see, Balto is a really confident animal, but he's got a little bit of fear towards masculine type people. And you'll notice Tim is trying to get some photos of him, and he's kind of nervously wagging his tail. His ears are back. He's making some huffing noises. You guys might not be able to hear that very well, but he is a little bit uneasy because he wants that pumpkin, but he doesn't know why there's a guy in here. He doesn't really know why there's a lot of people in here in general. And then Artemis is just nervous about the crowd. So I'm going to hang out as far as my Wi-Fi range will allow me to, so I can try to be close enough for you guys to really see them and appreciate them. And then Artemis is the black female in the background. She is just a 1.5-year-old high content wolf dog. She came to us at 5 weeks old, and we were able to actually hand raise her, which is a very unique experience for anyone who's never experienced this. It's a lot different than raising a dog, especially for a high content. And Artemis is a fairly social animal, but she tends to do better with the people that raised her than with brand new strangers. It takes her a little bit more time to trust build with people she doesn't know. You'll see she's getting curious. She wants to come up. She's not quite sure. So we'll see. Hopefully she'll make her way over soon. Artemis, it's me, your mom. Come get it. Come on. She's coming. She's still mostly focused on Tim and Rachel over there with the camera. So I might bow out to see if they can get some photos of her, because then you guys can enjoy those later through posts. So I'm gonna walk out and we'll go on to Irwin and Naya. Irwin is one of my absolute favorite animals, and he was my first rescue here at Wild Spirit over 3 years ago. But he is one of our, we call affectionately, spicy boys. He came here due to a history of aggression towards humans, which he has unfortunately retained here at Wild Spirit. So you guys will see that we use shift pens for him, much like we do with Sarkin. And here are the jack-o'-lanterns for Naya and Irwin. So we're gonna put Irwin's into a B. Okay, we are back. So sorry, I don't know if I cut out or not, but we are having some issues with the internet there for a minute. All right, so you'll notice that we have this guillotine style shift pen. So basically what we do is pull a lever, and that allows Irwin in here. As with most of our, aggressive, reactive, spicy animals, the reason that they're so dangerous to people is often because they are so confident with them. And the reason that that is problematic to us is because we can't employ our usual use of tools to set boundaries with them, because they tend to not care about boundaries. But the benefit to having animals that are dangerous as a result of confidence is that most of them will shift like this. That allows us to condition them to go into the shift pen for things like feeding or treats or bones, and that allows us to, over time, get them to the point where they will shift without those things if we need to for an emergency, and then anybody can go into the enclosure with their companion, assuming their companion is nice, which is almost always the case. So Irwin here is one of our senior high content animals. Hi. And Naya, his companion, is also a high content, but not yet a senior. We might get a brief glimpse of her in the background, but much like so many of the other animals, she's just a little bit shy and nervous about the crowds. So I'm going to focus more on Irwin here. As I mentioned, he did come here for reactivity towards his original owner, and then towards the person who had rescued him after his first home. And you'll see sometimes, you can maybe hear him, he's grumbly, he pretty much only likes me. He's pretty tolerant of a couple of other people, but most people he's just not a fan of. And so, as you all know, if you've been following us for a while or watched live streams before, our motto here at Wild Spirit is the animals come first. So Irwin is allowed to not like people, just like Rune is allowed to not like people. And you can see Naya in the background, so just point her out real quick. But we need to be able to work around those issues for our own safety and to eliminate stress on these animals. So it is actually pretty common for us to have reactive towards human animals here. We even have some animals that are reactive towards other animals and will spend the rest of their lives living singly. And we accommodate whatever they bring to the table. Our mission here is not to focus on taking the most social friendly animals, though sometimes they do end up here, or animals that once weren't social transform in our care. And that's a really, really beautiful thing, and probably one of the favorite parts of the job. But for animals like Irwin that come here with known issues, we basically accommodate them from the beginning of their time here up until the end of their lives, and give them the same love, care, and respect as all of the social animals that love and adore us and are easy to work with. So now that he has figured out that it's easiest to break into that jack-o'-lantern by kind of chewing into the eye holes, he's gonna be working on this for quite a while. Sometimes we stuff meat into these things and they tear through them a lot faster, but today is actually a feeding day, so we want to give them their pumpkins without food so they can get their normal meals afterwards. I don't know if I said already, but thank you to Diane Tadino for donating for Irwin's jack-o'-lantern. I saw that you were watching, so perfect timing. And then Sue Rigel donated for any rescue, and we put yours towards Naya's, so thank you so much for that. All right. We're going to move on to Beans and Aragorn. Beans' pumpkin was donated by Kimberly Alderet, Catherine Penn, and Natasha Woodall. Thank you guys so much for that. And then Aragorn, Denise Ramsey had donated for any rescue, so we put yours towards Mr. Aragorn. Thank you so very much. Beans is already up and waiting. Of course she is. She is one of our absolute most social rescues here at the sanctuary, and not at all worried about crowds and things of that nature. So she is ready to go.
This is for Aragorn.
And this is Beans.
Oh, I love them.
That you carved yourself.
I called it, yeah, just for her.
Yes.
I told her about it yesterday, so she's ready.
She is ready. All right. So hopefully she'll be respectful of us entering in with this high value item. I'm going to come in right behind Lexi. See how excited she is. Good job, Beans. So Beans here is technically a mid-content wolf dog, but she is 1.5% away from being a high content, which is really comical for us because knowing her, she does not act really anything like a high content. She acts almost like a golden retriever. Hello. And she's right now watching because they're taking Aragorn's jack-o'-lantern, and she thinks she might want to go steal it from him, just like she did with our watermelons back in July. So she is extremely social, very confident. She's still a young girl. We actually just recently found out as well that she is the litter mate to Lincoln, who we will be featuring as our guest star on today's live stream, which is also absolutely crazy to us, knowing both those animals and having had them here for a while now. It makes sense, but they look nothing alike. They act a lot alike, honestly. So you guys can tell us what you think once Lincoln gets down here. Do they seem similar? Do they look similar to you guys? What do you think? But otherwise, Beans only came to us at Wild Spirit because her original owner was moving to a county in which wolf dog ownership was illegal, and unfortunately was not going to be able to bring her with, and so asked us if we would be able to take her, and of course we said yes. And then shortly thereafter, we received the intake request for high content wolf dog Aragorn, who is all the way at the back. There's a theme going on today where you guys are only getting to see one animal and all the rest are scared. So Aragorn is about the same age as Dahlia. He is a year younger, but another, higher content animal. And we knew that he was semi-social, but could really get a boost from a really social, really confident animal like this one. So we decided that we would take him in as a hopeful partner for Dahlia. For Beans. They were introduced almost immediately and have been together ever since. They were a very quick and happy couple, but she definitely takes the leadership role in this relationship. So for the few people that Aragorn really likes, he will come and say hello, and she will try to push him away. She really doesn't like to share her attention. She's used to kind of being the star of the show. So it's not very usual for him to get tons of human attention, at least not without having to fight with her for it. But they get along exceptionally well, all things considered anyways. All right, Lady Love, we're going to go on to your neighbors now. And like a lady, she's marking her territory. So this is something that a lot of people think only male animals do, but in fact, females do mark their territories as well, especially the more confident and assertive females. And they do lift their legs sometimes, just like male animals. All right, so now we are ready for Kiska and Zeeby, which are huge favorites. Who do we got? Zeeby and Kiska. All right, and she is ready. She is whimpering. So Kiska and Zeeby here came from a facility in New York that unfortunately had to close its doors due to some issues with animals escaping. And they were forced to rehome every single animal on their property. We agreed to take Kiska and Zeeby and made the long trip from New Mexico to New York. Hello, love. Hello. To get them, and they've been here ever since. These guys, having been at a facility before, were very used to people and crowds and things like that. So they got put right on our tour path, and it's been really exceptional to watch not only new people fall in love with these guys, but people that used to know them from New York follow their journey here all the way to New Mexico, continue to support them, to love them, to donate towards them. And we actually recently had one of their former caretakers come all the way out here to visit and to be reunited after almost or over 2 years without seeing them, which was the most incredible reunion to be able to witness. It was really an honor for us to watch that happen. I don't know if you guys saw just a moment ago, Zeeby was Albert in the background. He's actually not staying away because he's shy. He's just really old. He's one of our oldest animals at 14, and he doesn't really have a super huge appetite or super huge desire to check out novelty items like he probably did when he was younger. Also, Kiska's quite a bit younger than him. She's half his age, and so she tends to sometimes take advantage of his age by bullying him over resources or stealing them because she's faster. He's got to say hi to Tim. That's one of her favorite people. So you'll see her little tail going. Hello. So good. So good. So ZB's probably going to come up when he is good and ready to. Otherwise, Kiska will get to enjoy all these jack-o'-lanterns on her own. All right. And then this one for Antoine. And this is Sam. Sam was not here for our intro. Sam is our intern coordinator and an animal care specialist. Who's your favorite animal?
Aries.
Aries. Perfect. Oh, hi, Sarah. I just see that one of our former interns from last term just joined us. Oh, my goodness. Nice. So if you guys just saw Antoine jumping like that, he is a mid-content wolf dog, and these guys are often touted as being really novel or really incredible escape artists. Because not only can they jump really high and dig, they can climb. And you guys saw Antoine's jumps. He's a 7-year-old, so he can't really jump as high as like a super young, healthy, fit animal like Lincoln. But they can still do quite a lot physically that is really just out of this world compared to like your standard domestic dog breeds. But Antoine here, as I mentioned, is a mid-content who came to us last August. He was actually given to Wild Spirit because of some unpredictable and reactive behaviors. Thankfully, we have not seen any of that since he's been here with us. Sometimes animals just aren't a great fit for people that they're sharing their lives with or environments that they're in. And in his case, he was actually rescued after his former owners got rid of him. So the person that we got him from had simply taken him in hoping to save him from an alternative fate, and they just weren't really existing as a great match. So he didn't seem to necessarily enjoy that environment to the point that he was being unpredictable. And we're not really sure why. No one's really to blame for that, but sometimes these guys just need a change, and we're really, really happy to say that since he's been here, we've not seen anything problematic from him. He's a really, really sweet boy. And then Miss Thistle, who is in the background, she is a low-content wolf dog who came to us from Alaska. Her owner was a musher with sled dogs who rescued her, believing she was just another mixed northern breed mix, and she was part of her sled dog team. And unfortunately, as she got older, she started to demonstrate some odd behaviors. So some friends of the owner recommended she do an embark DNA test to see if she had weird breeds in her. Well, she had several weird breeds, and one of them was a very small amount of wolf. And in the state of Alaska, wolf dogs of any content are considered completely illegal. So she did have to get rid of her and asked us to take her. At that point in time, we did not have any space available, so we asked if it would be possible that Alaska authorities would work with her on the timeline, and they actually gave us, I want to say, 6+ months to find a space available for Thistle before her owner then flew her here from Alaska to make sure she was going to a good place, stayed the night so she could see her the next morning, and then departed. And she is still a follower and a supporter of Wild Spirit and of Miss Thistle here, which is really incredible. We're actually really lucky at this point that a lot of owners are keeping up with their animals, whereas that doesn't always happen. So it's really a beautiful thing when it does. All right. So thank you so much to Crystal Bryant for donating towards Antoine, and for Kimberly Alderette, who donated towards any rescue, and we put yours towards Thistle. Next, we've got Quinn and Leica. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, I haven't seen all these yet, so do you want to come in with us?
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
All right, so we've got Mr. Quinn here, and then Miss Leica here. Quinn is ready to go. And you can come in if you want to. Yes. One of the staff will block you.
Okay.
All right. Hello, Laika. Hi. That's my paper. So Quinn and Laika here are brother and sister low to mid content wolf dogs. And the reason I'm saying low to mid is because we have DNA tested their sister Leia, who came back just above mid content at 53%. However, among litter mates, you can have plus or minus 5%. So it's possible these guys are mids like she is, but it's also possible that they are technically low contents. And we won't know for sure until we DNA test them. And even then, DNA tests are not 100% accurate, of course, but they do get more accurate over time as they continue to develop their database and add more data to it. So a really cool thing that Embark used to do is allow you to rerun the test every single year so you could get an update as their database changes. It sounds like that is not something that they're offering, at least not at this point anymore, which is a little unfortunate and disappointing, but it's okay. This gives us a baseline of content level, and it doesn't really matter that much either. You know, we're not going to give them back because they turned out to be low contents or anything like that. And ultimately, it's our belief here that content does not generally have a ton to do with things like behavior in a rescue capacity. We have some high contents like that act like golden retrievers, and we have some very low contents that act completely feral. So mostly it's a fun thing for us to be informed and to inform you guys about the content level of our animals. And sometimes we find fun things like different and unusual breeds that make up these kids, but the health stuff is equally as important. So Quinn and Laika, as well as Leia, Kabbalah, who is their alleged father, and Mystique, who is somehow probably also related, these guys all came here along with another female who has since passed from a hoarding situation in California. The person that owned these animals had tons of exotic type pets, including wolf dogs, wild cats, all sorts of things, and did not have them either illegally or did not have them legally or was not providing proper care. But for whatever reason or reasons, she was forced to have them all confiscated. They became part of a court case, and she was, eventually fined. But these guys were born to their mother in a shelter where they were being held for evidence for this court case. And unfortunately, wolf dogs don't typically do really well in a shelter setting. There's a lot of stress that happens there. Even for domestic dogs, it's a lot. But again, if you have a neophobic animal like a wolf dog, it's going to be way worse keeping them in a small cage with all the noise and all the people. So when these guys were birthed, their mother was so stressed that she began harming her puppies, and they had to be pulled and hand raised by people in order to keep them safe. So they have been with humans since about the day they were born, and were later given to wild spirit because they were just getting bigger, getting older, becoming more difficult to handle. So we did take them all in, and they have been here now for about 7 years. So these guys are almost seniors, which is incredible because to us, they're all still very much puppies. You get it, Quinn. And then we'll see if we can go see Miss Laika as well, so you guys can actually see two animals in this enclosure. It's okay, it's just me, your mom. Oh, my shadow in the way. What is that? What is that, good girl? So a huge, huge thank you to Grandma Donna McCann for donating to Quinn, and to Christine Crawford for donating to Laika. Hi. Yeah. Hello. You guys all want to sniff me instead of be on camera. That's... Hello. All right. We will move on next to our dingoes, Glacier and Uluru. Laika was helping. Okay. Sorry, the paper is blowing in front of my camera. Bear with me. Those of you that have watched these before, y'all know these are a little bit chaotic, these live streams. So if you keep coming back for more, that's such a wonderful testament. All right. Uluru, it's got a nice tongue.
Glacier.
Oh, beautiful. All right. So these are our dingo brothers, Glacier and Uluru. These guys are seniors, and they are currently in one of our geriatric style enclosures because these guys are both suffering from mobility related issues as a result of their old age. As I mentioned previously, their brother Aussie was assisted in passing earlier this year due to degenerative myelopathy, which is that mobility condition that cause eventual paralysis and is the same thing that Zane is afflicted with. We do know that Glacier here, this blonde colored one, has disc disease, which is the most common form, or one of the most common forms of, hello Uluru, age-related arthritic type stuff in canids and also felids. And Uluru has presented similar symptoms to both his brothers, but has not been formally diagnosed because his treatment plan would be the same no matter what he has. Both of these guys are currently on prednisone, which is a steroid, just kind of meant to give them a good boost at the end portion of their life. So we do know that, eventually the reality is that they will pass, and until that point comes, we have them in a very geriatric friendly enclosure, very close to humans at all points in the day, so we can keep close contact. That way, if we start seeing signs of paralysis, they are right within our eyes reach instead of up on the hill or something where we might not see them as much throughout the day. This allows us to really keep good track of their good days and their bad days so that we can help make an informed decision about their end of life whenever that point comes. But otherwise, these guys came to us about 12 years ago as pups. They were originally part of a verified breeding program for pure dingoes between Australia and the United States, where they brought some dingoes here to breed and help with building a healthy population of pure dingoes, because pure dingoes are not super common in Australia. I've read some controversial articles about the number of pure dingoes that still exist in Australia. A few years ago, people were saying that there was only a single island with pure dingoes. Now they're saying there's a lot more than we think. But either way, dingoes are really sort of controversial within Australia, much like coyotes and wolves are here in the United States. A lot of people don't like them. Hello. They consider them pests, varmints. They want them all dead. They worry about them harming babies or pets or livestock, things like that. Hi, handsome. So they are really heavily persecuted and hunted and killed and poisoned and all sorts of awful things like that. So the reason that the United States was chosen to work with Australia is because Australia itself was not likely to support such a program. They don't want more dingoes. But someday people might change their minds. So the logic was that it would be really helpful to have a healthy stock of captive dingoes here in the States. Yes, hello. Yeah, get it. So Glacier is definitely the more confident of these two brothers, so it's very normal for him to check out the stuff first, and then Uluru, after seeing that it's safe, will come in and check it out as well. But we're going to leave these guys to it. Huge thank you to Christine Crawford for donating for Mr. Glacier here, and for Susan Clark for donating to the handsome Mr. Uluru. Oh yeah, you get it. You get that pumpkin. These guys are just the best. All right. So we're going to go into this next enclosure for Miss Larka. Nice. Larka is one of our brand new rescues from Minnesota. She was living with Rune, but they did have to be separated recently. As she started settling in, she started to bully him a little bit more than we were comfortable with. It is normal for new relationships for animals to test boundaries, scuffle, things like that. But this was just a little bit more than we were comfortable with seeing. So we did remove her just to be cautious. I'm going to peek inside here just to show you guys a peep of her, and then I'm going to leave and she might come out on her own. So this is Miss Larka. She is a high content young adult female. We don't know her exact age, but we're estimating between 2 to 3. You will notice that because I am present, she is doing everything in her power to avoid looking at me, to be non-threatening. This is something we would call a shutdown animal. She's not quite shut down, but if we put pressure on her, she certainly would. Versus an animal that is willing to fight or flee away from humans. She's just trying to not exist. So we're going to leave her alone with her little pumpkin, and hopefully she'll come out and check it out. All right, we assigned a donation for any rescue from Robert C. Hurt to Larka, so thank you for that. And then our last enclosure will be our singing dogs, Bowie and Reba. So you're gonna have to bear with me as I walk through 10,000 gates. So Bowie and Reba's jack-o'-lanterns were donated by Diane Todino and Bobby Scott. Thank you guys so much for supporting these two. Much like our dingoes, our singers are both seniors. Do you actually want to do Lincoln first because he's down here?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so we're gonna skip, now that I'm seeing our guest star Lincoln is here, we're gonna skip the singers and do him instead. I don't know how far I'm gonna be able to get with the Wi-Fi, so I'm gonna kind of assess, but you can see Stinky Linky over here, which I call him with all the love and affection, is ready to get this bad boy. And remember, this is Bean's brother that we just learned, so you guys got to tell us if you think they look and act similar. So the reason Link is our guest star, hi Bubba, hi, is because up until recently, this man was in witness protection, or wolf dog protection as we call our program here, at the request of his former facility for his safety. However, we have since taken him out of his protection program, and he is welcome to be seen by the public. So we wanted to feature him for everybody, especially the many people that knew he was here and have loved him for a long time and had to withhold all photo sharing, commentary, supporting him openly with enrichment purchases. So we're very happy to have him out seeing you guys. Hi, Bubba. And Lincoln here, much like Beans, is technically a mid-content animal, but very close to high content, though he just acts like a dog. He doesn't really act much like a higher content wolf dog. He is very, very social, very friendly. And hopefully he'll be interested in his pumpkin, but if not, he is happy to be out on his little walk as well. Let's see, and I have Christine Crawford, Robbie Parks, who is here with us today, and Donna S. Swan. Thank you guys so much for donating for Link and his pumpkin today. He's like checking out, trying to see if he's got other options. He says he's not a fan of pumpkin, doesn't like the color orange. I think I heard all those things. Lincoln? Well, cool. If he doesn't want his pumpkin, we could just hang out with him, say hi to him, see him in all his beautiful glory. Come on, Lincoln. So normally we don't give pumpkins or high value resources at all to animals out on a leash. As you guys can imagine, there is a lot of potential for danger doing something like that, because if they decide to resource guard, they could cause harm to the people handling them. So of course, we're very strategic, not only about which animals we choose to do activities like this with, but we also have contingency plans in place for if he starts to be problematic. Right now, his most problematic behavior is just that he wants to jump and kiss everybody and ignore his pumpkin, which is his prerogative. So that's okay. That is a lot of teeth on that thing. It's kind of like a spider, I think. Yeah. Sam said that Link said it's too pretty to destroy that pumpkin, so he couldn't possibly. All right, well, since Link is just having a time, we will go back to Bowie and Reba. Daniel's over there waiting for us. So, bye, Lincoln. Love you. He's like, wait, don't go. I feel like if I don't tell these animals that I love them at least 5 times every single day, I'm not doing my job right. So, I'll be walking by. I love you. I love you. Hello.
So the singers are getting something special. They get gourds that each have different faces on them.
Yes.
And the door unfortunately only opens this direction.
Yeah, we're all going to be crammed for a second here. Hello. Oh my goodness. Are you ready? Are you ready, Bowie? Hi. Hello. So Bowie and Reba here are our 2 New Guinea singing dogs. These guys are a wild breed of canid, and they are actually the most ancient breed of canine currently living on the planet. They also have the widest range of vocalizations of any canine on the planet, thus naming them singing dogs, though I was recently informed that their name is more acceptably recognized now as the New Guinea Highland dog, or I think New Guinea Dingo is another one. So I'm still learning about these animals all the time. This is my first time working with them here at this facility, and it has just been an honor and a privilege to get to know and work with such an incredible and unique species of animal. We originally had 5 animals from the rescue Bowie and Reba are from, and then 2 additional singers back in the day that came from Tijuana. But right now, these are the only 2 that we still have remaining with us. Mr. Bowie over there had bloat a couple years ago, and thankfully we put him through the surgery for it, and he is still with us today. We did lose a second singer to bloat that was not a candidate for the surgery, unfortunately. But these 2 at 12 years old are technically at about middle of their life expectancy. However, because this species is so heavily inbred, with the average percentage point being 75% for dingoes that have been tested so far in the United States, or through Embark, I should say, these guys have been passing away closer to 10 years of age. So we're really fortunate to still have them with us, and they are in really great health. We don't see any signs of, them having issues or anything like that, though of course they are slowing down in their age, but that is okay and to be expected. And these guys were originally part of a hoarding case where a man in Pennsylvania started with 2 different pairs that he purchased at a flea market, and they eventually started to breed, and they were breeding really rampantly. So over the years he ended up having over 80 of them, if I'm correct on that number, and he was, basically in touch with local law enforcement about getting help to relocate all of them and find homes for them. And so they did all go to facilities here in the U.S. Hello, sweetheart. And one of the really neat things is that Wild Spirit is one of the few facilities in the U.S. in general to have singers. But there are many of these living in human households as pets. As you can see, at 12 years old, they are full grown, so they are really small. They can be really sweet and affectionate. They make a little bit too much noise for my taste, and I'm a husky owner, so that's saying a lot. But many people do share their lives with these guys as pets and find them to be really rewarding pets to have. They are controversial as pets, though, because they can be really difficult. Again, wild animal. And these have some unusual tendencies, like the ability to rotate their wrists and elbows so that they can, climb trees. They're really incredible escape artists. They're, like I said, they're very loud. All sorts of different things make them more challenging than your standard domestic dog breed. But there are potentially hundreds of them still in existence in the world today, between the wild and captivity. Maybe more than that. It's really hard to say. I'm certainly not a singing dog expert like I am with, wolves, but these guys are very likely to continue to be a part of Wild Spirit for years to come after these 2 are no longer with us. So we're really excited, again, getting to participate with such a unique species. But that is it for our animals on the live stream this morning. I'm so glad the internet just had a couple of blips in it, but hopefully the quality of this video has been decent for you guys this time. Thank you so much again to everybody who sponsored enrichment and who is watching and commenting, sharing, sending stars. You guys are all so incredible, and it's because of you who support us in all these various ways that we're able to do the amazing work we do here at Wild Spirit. We are up to almost 80 rescues at this point in time, making us the largest wolf sanctuary or canid specific sanctuary in all of North America. And that would not be possible without people like you supporting, donating, commenting, sharing, etc. And for those that don't already know, we do allow for purchases of themed enrichment for all of our live streams every year online through our website and through our online gift shop. So if you are interested in donating to a favorite rescue or to any rescue in general, you can check that out online, and Katie, our social media coordinator, can post something in the comments or in general for you guys to know where to go to find that out. As I mentioned earlier, if we haven't already, we will be making an option where you can sponsor enrichment items all through the year instead of just for live streams like this. We talked a lot today as well about Embark DNA testing and health testing. So if you feel so obliged and would like to know the DNA of some of our rescues or the health status of some of our rescues, that is another area in which we could always use items purchased from our Amazon wish list. We also have an affiliate link that gives us cash back on such purchases if you use that. So feel free to check out our Amazon wish list or just reach out if there's a certain rescue and you want to know if they've been DNA tested or not already. Otherwise, we will see you guys in December for our present toss video, which is the next upcoming. So you've got about a month or 2 months to purchase items for the present toss. And again, Katie, if she hadn't already gotten to your questions and comments during the live stream, we'll get to you at some point. So bear with us on that. Otherwise, we hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your day, a fantastic spooky season, regardless of what you celebrate. And thank you again for being supporters of Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary.